and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Jahan, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a Korean K-pop foundation trick that they use to get the thinnest veil of foundation but still get coverage, and it looks super natural and makes your skin look really glossy and beautiful. So if you want to know what that is, keep watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe because it really helps my channel. So I saw this hack on a TikTok, as you do, and I thought I just had to try it. And basically the hack comes down to using a certain beauty tool. So I'll put the creator's little snippet of the creator here. Her name was Jenny, and she talked about how they do it and how it creates this really thin veil. And I just wanted to show you now. So what I did, I went straight online, went to Amazon first and looked for a spatula, and in the end I had to buy it from eBay. I'll put the eBay seller down here. And it's this little spatula here. So it looks super simple, and you just think, how is that going to work? It's got a pointy end here, which we just use as a handle, but it's just a thin silver, like metal spatula here. Almost looks like a bit of like a butter knife. So it's not sharp at all, anything like that. And basically they use this to create a really thin layer of makeup on the skin. So I wanted to show you how they do that. I've done it a couple of times myself, and actually I'm quite surprised on how the coverage looks. But what I thought I'd do today is bring all liquid and cream products and see if we can do a full face doing this, creating really thin veils of makeup, and see how that works. As I mentioned, I got this from eBay in the end. Amazon do them, but we're going to take ages to come, or they did the really short ones, and I wanted this long one because that's specifically what she used. And I think it was about £6 or £8, so it was quite, I suppose, inexpensive compared to a brush, and it's also very easy to clean because you're just wiping it away. But what I'm going to do is take my Rare Beauty, what's this called again? Positive Light Tinted Moisturiser, and put it on the back of my hand here. So there you go, like that. So I'm just using, again, quite a small amount of foundation. And then what you do, I'm going to bring you in a bit closer so you can really see what my skin looks like before and after. So this is my skin before, without any foundation on. I've just got my usual beauty products and makeup products so you can see. And what we'll do is I'll do half and half so you can kind of see what one cheek looks like versus another. So you get this spatula, this is stainless steel, and you just literally swipe your spatula. It's a bit difficult trying to do this in the viewfinder. There's my mirror. I completely missed it. So you swipe your spatula, so you're left with like this thin amount of foundation on your spatula, like so. And then just get the spatula, and you almost like you're thinly buttering a piece of toast. So not only are you applying like the thinnest layer, but you also, as you're applying, as you can see here, as you're applying, you're also taking off the top layer. So nothing's really sitting on the skin. So what is sitting on your skin is the thinnest layer of foundation. So I'm just going to continue doing that. And I think this method also uses a lot less makeup. I'm just using the viewfinder as my mirror. And then what she did on the video, she used a beauty blender to pat it in, but because this is the Rare foundation and they kind of just, Selena Gomez says use your fingers, I'm just going to just pat it in slightly. Like so. And if you look at this is the side without foundation, and this is the side with, it just leaves a really thin layer of coverage, but without really looking like foundation. It still very much looks like skin. Let's do the other side, and then what I might actually do In fact, what I will do, I'll just run up and go and get my double wear and see what it looks like with a foundation, because I know this is a tinted moisturiser, so it naturally has that look of a very light foundation. But let me run and go and get my Estee Lauder double wear, which is meant for kind of heavy duty, full coverage, like masking foundation, and compare doing the technique with that versus this and see what kind of coverage we get for that, and see whether actually it's a great way of using a full coverage foundation but in a much lighter way. Let me go and have a look and go and get that foundation. So I went and grabbed my Estee Lauder double wear, which is this one, and I wear the colour Toasty Toffee 4W2 for anybody, for reference if you are interested in this foundation. This is always in my collection, it's a staple. I use it as a foundation and I sometimes use it as a very light concealer because it does stay all day, and it's got very low SPF, so if you're taking photos, it's SPF 10, so it's quite an ideal foundation, and they've got a nice range of foundations and colours in this range too. Anyway, this side we've got the Rare Beauty Tinted Light Wonder. So let's see what it's like with a full coverage foundation, because obviously tinted moisturisers and things like that are made to be like that. So let's have a look what it's like with a fuller coverage, actually. Let's have a look. So you can see straight away, this is like a much thicker consistency. I'm just going to use, actually, I'm going to use 1.5 pumps, because I think the way you do this type of makeup, you don't need a lot of foundation, as you saw on the other side. And I've just wiped my spatula clean. Again, this is really quite a convenient, hygienic way of doing things, because you just wipe it clean. You could just use antibacterial wipes or a quick spray and a wipe. I'm going to take the foundation here and the spatula and take the longest side, which I think is this side, run my spatula through. There you go, like that. So then you've got like a thin coating on the spatula there for you to see. And let's do this side of my face. So you want to hold your spatula at a bit of an angle. I think I put too much foundation on, actually. At a bit of an angle, so it's not flat to the face, it's just slightly at like a 45-degree angle when you do it. So you're kind of applying and scraping at the same time. I tried to do half a face, but I've completely missed out like literally the half of my face. So let's just do cheek to cheek, shall we, for now. And as it scrapes, it starts to take away like part of the foundation as well. So it kind of takes away the kind of top layer that you would usually buff away, I guess. This colour's slightly off for me. That's probably more of a summer colour, but you can get the gist anyway. But there again, it leaves such a thin layer of foundation. I'm just going to pat it into my skin. I think it's left again a really nice thin veil of makeup. And it doesn't feel heavy on the skin at all. It feels so light. It feels really similarly to the Rare Beauty. So this is Rare Beauty using that technique, which is very light, skin light foundation already. And then here is the Estee Lauder with the same technique. And I think, again, it's given good coverage, but also a very thin layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and put a second layer on top, just so you can see what it looks like to layer up with this technique. I'm going to take my spatula again. It's still got a bit of residue from the last one, but I'm just going to take it again, put it through the foundation, and go for a second layer. In person especially, when I'm looking in my mirror, It looks incredibly natural, really natural. So it's kind of knocked off any of the foundation from the surface of my skin that would probably just be sitting there as a layer. And that's what it looks like with a second coat of foundation. I think it's actually really good. I think it's given very nice coverage. It still looks very glossy because my skincare is also able to get in the mix, and this is a very matte foundation as well. It's covered where it needs to cover. I really like it. What I'm going to do now is try it with some other products. Now we've seen what it can do for foundation. As a tool, I really like this because you can just wipe it clean in between things. You can use it for your whole makeup routine. Well, we're going to test that now to see whether we can use it for a whole makeup routine. It's very easy to use if you want to switch and change up colours. So it's easier than using a brush in that way. But let's see what it's like with other products. I imagine we're going to have to kind of do a bit of blending around the edges to make it more seamless with the skin. But let's see what it's like with a liquid foundation. Let's keep going with the rest of the face. I've got a liquid bronzer with me as well. So let's see how this product stands up for the whole face. I'm going to leave it here with kind of let me do the second coat of my Rare Beauty on the other side, even out my face a little bit, and then I'll get back to you with the blush. I've just added a second layer of Rare Beauty to this side just to even out my face before we go ahead with the other liquid products. And I'm going to use, first of all, actually, I've got this liquid concealer, full coverage camouflage concealer, which I'm going to use just in little places where I've got a few dark marks and see how that works with concealing. So I'm going to use a tiniest dot because you have to use a tiniest dot of this one anyway. This is the Revolution, did I say that already? Full coverage camouflage concealer. And just use a tiniest dot on here. So that is all that I really go in with this. Look, it's tiny and it is incredibly full coverage. It's almost like that tattoo coverage consistency, so it's very thick. I'm going to take my tool again, take a tiny bit of that on at the end of the spatula, the tiniest part, and just put it and scrape it. And just continue to scrape until it sort of blends. Just tapping out the edges with the spatula. I think that's pretty good as for actually just a tool for just doing your concealing as well. Just then putting it on and then using that 45-degree angle just to kind of pat it and scrape it away. I think that's pretty good. I didn't have loads of concealing to do, to be fair, let's be honest, didn't have loads. But where it has, it's blended quite nicely. Yeah, I like that for concealing too. Let's try with the bronzer now. So I've got a liquid bronzer by Iconic London in the colour, just says Sheer Blondes in Caramel Glow. So I'm not sure how much it's actually going to show on my skin. Oh yeah, it should show quite well. It's kind of a medium deep colour, this one I would say. Very liquidy again. I'm going to take my spatula and put it through the bronzer, like so. This is how much I've got on my spatula. And I'm going to kind of try and aim it sort of mid-cheek. This is a bit harder. And then use the round part just to tap off the excess. I think with a bit of practice this could be quite a good quick tool. I don't know how much it's actually showing up on camera, to be honest, this bronzer, especially on this side, because I think it's almost a match with the foundation colour. I think with the bronzer, you're still definitely going to have to blend in, otherwise you're going to end up with streaky lines on your face. Let me just take you out a bit so you can see. And in person, this bronzer hasn't shown up massively either, so maybe it's more about the colour, but the bronzer, I think you're going to have to use a usual technique, a sponge or a brush, or your fingers if it's a liquid bronzer, to get it really in a precise place. Do the blush bit, so I'm just a bit excited about the brush. I'm going to use one of my favourite ones that I'm using at the moment, which are the Revolution Bomb blushes, which are these ones, which I've shown you quite a few times in videos now. Which colour should I use? I'm going to go with the Glam Orange and see how that goes. I think that's the one that's going to pick up nicely on camera as well, so you're going to be able to see how it applies. So I'm going to take this, it comes with this big doe foot applicator. I'm going to put that on the back of my hand for now. And because it's just blush, I'm just going to take it up to about halfway of the spatula, because otherwise I'm going to end up with a big streak on my face. I'm going to take the widest part. Let me just wipe my spatula down again. So I've just taken it up to kind of sort of halfway-ish. And I'm going to put it in my usual blush placement. Oh my goodness. My usual blush placement. And just put it on my face as it scrapes away at that 45-degree angle. I've just flipped it just to get to use the clean side to just kind of buff out the edges. Let me do the other side as well. I think that works pretty well. I don't know about you, the colour is really pigmented. These blushes, I love these blushes, they're super pigmented and you don't have to use a lot. But I think it's blended well with my skin. It's very, very, very bright, I think, which I personally would always just tap down around the edges of where I've placed it. Keys, always blending, 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 making sure it looks seamless. But as an application, I think that works really, really quite nicely. Like in person, it looks really fresh. I like that a lot, using that technique and using this little tool. Just gonna add some lipstick on, just to tie everything. I'm using the Black Honey by Clinique, that Nearly lipstick. But here you go, this is what foundation looks like using the Korean K-pop foundation technique, using this £8 amazing little tool, or £6 or £8 little tool, which is again super hygienic, I think. This is going to make its way into my makeup collection for everyday use. I'm going to use this in the mornings, I think, every day, because at the moment where I'm quite busy and trying to get out the house, this is a really easy and quick tool just to be able to wash under some hot water or wipe with a sterilising wipe, or if you're doing makeup on the go, again, it's a very clean tool because you can sterilise it very easily because it's stainless steel. You don't have to worry about the brushes and all that kind of stuff. Very easy and quick to use, and I think it just leaves such a natural kind of, you're not overusing your foundation or overusing your makeup to get the coverage you need, but still getting coverage. I think this is such a clever tool. I don't know whether this is a new thing or whether it's like one of those things that's now suddenly trending, but actually in Korea they've been using it for years and years and years and years and years, so it probably is that, and now it's just trending. But I'm really glad I found and I came across this. I will leave the link to the eBay seller where I found it below. But yeah, give it a go. Let me know if you already do this. Let me know when you do use it, how you get on, because I would love to know. You will see this foundation tool, this foundation spatula, again in other videos with me. If you are going to look elsewhere, all I did was put up foundation spatula, and this is what comes up. Different lengths of this, but the longer one is the one that you kind of want to get. So yeah, I'm really happy that I've got this. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave your comments down below. I love to chat to you, and have a wonderful day wherever you are. See you soon. Take care.